thought of you.
I couldn't go. Because of my ears, the doctor told me that my eardrums would probably burst in the front one. So
Well,
I would rather not go to you. I couldn't go.
Okay, we're good. We're good?
Yeah.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending. This is our Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustee meeting. Maureen.
sorry.
Okay. Thank you for attending our meeting. This is Monday, April 10th, 2023. I have, let's go through roll call.
Andy Bradford, Anna Eddy.
Anna's here. She just stepped
Yeah.
out. She's here. She just stepped out.
Colleen Crook,
Here,
Iris Larson.
She's not coming.
Thank you. Leanne Mankey,
here,
Scott McBride,
He's not coming today.
Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Neil Ryan,
Here.
Christine Shushin,
here,
Diane Sam,
Here.
Fiona York,
Here.
Sheila Rowell,
here.
David Nagel.
Here.
Concluded roll.
Thank you. Next is public participation.
There is no one.
See anyone in the room, and there's no one online. Thank you. And so next up is town council liaison. Dave?
Very briefly, the council has been meeting in regards to the budget, which is more concerned to you. So far, there have been no changes made to the budget provided by the town manager. There is one more opportunity for changes, which more than likely will happen on the 18th. There's been no talk, as far as I know, about changing anything in the budget in regards to the library. And that's it in a nutshell. In terms, because the question has been asked quite often about the central facility committee and members being added. My understanding, there is one more person that has to go through the final process. I want to release their name because
You don't know what happened?
things happen, and if and when that is done, there'll be 3, which is the minimal amount in order for a facilities committee central one to be held. Whether it will be or not is up in the air, so that's what we start.
Thank you. And then, sorry, on the budget, it's due to be finalized
On the 18th.
on the,
No.
no, the 18th is the last time. we'll
The
make changes.
18th is when things are finalized, the last chance the council has for making decisions and changes, be that as they may.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Dave? No. There's nobody in that corner, right? Between you and Maureen, there's nobody?
Shadow.
Okay, that's why I'm rocking back and forth over here. I'm trying to see if there's somebody stuck in that corner. All right, thank you. So secretary's report, Iris is not here and I do not have a report, so we'll go with no report. Next up would be approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to go through the minutes? Any questions or corrections? Not seeing anything, I would entertain a motion to accept the
I'll make a motion.
minutes. Thank you, Chris. I'll second. Thank you, Leanne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
I abstain. I wasn't here last night.
Andy?
I abstained as well.
No, I vote in favor.
I abstained, I wasn't here.
Leanne and Anna abstain.
You don't have to abstain.
Oh, okay.
Common misconception.
Any opposed? No, thank you. The vote to approve the minutes passes. Review of annual activities committee. It's April, so of course we talk about the 5K race. And right here, I have a little line that says collect trustee sponsors. So if you have not contributed in any way, I said this at the race meeting as well, but if you're not part of the legacy contributors, or if you haven't yet put in your trustee sponsorship and you're planning to do so, please do so. I did throw my checkbook in in my purse, so don't let me leave here without doing that, or I'll be hitting my head against the wall. I just encourage anybody else to go ahead and do that. It makes it easier if you can hand it over or set it up before the race. Volunteer appreciation breakfast. The board members are requested to attend. Is that old? Are you doing that? The volunteer appreciation? Not what we give to the staff, or what the staff does? No? Okay. So then right on the end of that, I'll go into the board's staff appreciation. So that had been suspended with COVID, and I know that we have had some discussion. The last discussion I had with you folks was that staff is certainly interested. They like the idea of us having a meal where we can talk and visit rather than doing an event. Sometimes we would do an event, and then we try to do some of our visiting and getting to know each other. And that is not as popular because they felt there just wasn't enough time to mix and mingle. And I think you're meeting with the staff to get calendar dates and figure out.
Yeah, we
what they
have a
want.
staff meeting next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday.
Okay, so just be aware that we are moving forward with that. We're trying to set that up again this year. It was an every other year item. Like everything else, the schedules were shot with the COVID. But really, these last few years, more than ever, I mean, we've always been very proud of our library staff and what they've done for the community, but the way that they stepped forward and didn't miss a beat and kept providing services and finding new ways to provide services through COVID. And even through, right up to now, we don't have all of our staffing back yet. We don't have all sorts of things going on. They deserve kudos and certainly our appreciation. So I'm looking forward to being able to get a little bit more information and do a plan on that. I think it's going to be hard to pick a date. The library is so busy. It was hard for us to pick Hano. As that goes through. Book sale. The book sale is this weekend. If you, I'm just going to see a little bit of yours, but if you have time and you can volunteer at all to assist, they're always appreciative of that. And if you can't do that, go find some books that you might like. It's always helpful. And just a reminder that those monies are really what fund the programming for our library and what goes on, because that's not part of the town budget. We wouldn't be able to provide the services that we do without the wonderful work that our friends do. So thank you for that. We didn't know you were going to get a little plug in with the calendar. And then we go through, I believe we'll have the investment committee quarterly report for just a month. I'm not sure on the timing. Okay, any questions about the calendar of events? And of course, everybody knows.
And we had, we've got a few, restricted outlays that we had with the Saliba author that came in, book purchases and Polino book purchases. And the subscription. I wanted to ask you, Karen, it looks like the amount hasn't increased yet. We haven't increased our tablet subscription yet, or?
We're in the process of doing that,
Increasing the number of tablets. For the
Yeah, we have
subscriptions
them.
For the Wi-Fi?
yeah, they should be the same.
Oh, it should be the same amount? I thought with adding there would be an increase in the cost for the subscription number.
Well, it's up to 10,
Okay.
so.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
so we're all set then, okay.
Or 12.
All right, I was
I'm
just
sorry.
kind of, I've been
Yeah.
anticipating an increase, so, okay, the, money market with Kingston, we had that very generous request come in last month, so our funds on that particular fund is at, $228,726.21. Our investment advisor, Dean Spot at Kingston, has been moving things around into relatively liquid assets to get us some return, but that just started up because he's just had the money for about a month now. Santander money market, which is the restricted funds, is at $40,725.96. All the accounts are balanced for the restricted and the unrestricted accounts, with the report that, lists you at, what our balances are. Just to clarify, and I want to make this point because there's been some confusion in the community, so I want to make sure people understand that when you look at our totals, yes, we have a substantial amount of money, but restricted funds are very tightly controlled as to how they can be spent. And a majority of a lot of our restricted funds are the HANO, which holds us to 2 cultural events per year. That's all we can spend the money on. So it's not like we can turn around and do whatever we like with those funds. Yeah, so, I just wanted to put that out there because there's been some mention, to the council and things like that. I just wanted to clarify.
The board understands that.
Yes, but I
But
want to
we-
put it, yes, so I just wanted to make it clear. I also have one other item that, I was hoping Iris would be here tonight, but, we are in the process of consolidating banks. We're going to go to TD Bank because we can put our, checking, our money market and our, safety deposit box all under one institutional roof versus all over the place, as well as our credit cards. Right now, we're kind of scattered. So we are going to go to TD Bank, but to do that, I have to have an authorization from this body authorizing the signer so I can open those accounts. I have 2 resolutions. I can't read them because I'm on them. That I would like somebody to put forward. You can't either because you're one.
I'll read it. Okay, well, okay.
There's, one is for the credit card, signers, and one is for the accounts. And if we could get those into the meeting minutes, and Elizabeth, if I could have a copy of the meeting minutes as soon as possible, that would be great. Thank you.
And then, before you actually read the resolution, according to, our charter and our handbook, or whatever you want to say on the board, there are specific people that are allowed to sign checks and write money. So this is what the resolution is about, is to get the folks named in the meeting so that Leanne and those folks, can go to the bank and get that done. And the people that are authorized based on their position on the board.
Basically, for signers on accounts, it's president, vice president, treasurer. And for the bank account, or the credit card, it's a little different. It's treasurer of the board and the director and the assistant director of the library, because they make the purchases that we pay.
Okay,
All right, Anna, you're up.
okay, be it resolved, and Elizabeth, I will just hand these to you, so you don't. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Lucy Robbins Local Library, Inc., located at 100 Garfield Street, Newington, Connecticut, has determined that the following individuals are authorized to be named on and act as signers of any and all of the organization's TD Bank accounts. Authorized signers are Leanne Wetherell Mankey, Treasurer, Diane Stam, President, Maureen O'Connor Lyons, Vice President. Resolved and entered into the official Board of Trustees meeting minutes this date, April 10th, 2023. Iris Larson, Secretary. So I make a motion that this resolution that I just read be approved by the Board of Trustees.
Second, Pauline, correct?
Thank you, Lauren. Any questions or discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, thank you. Next.
So the next resolution is, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Lucy Robbins Local Library, Inc., located at 100 Garfield Street, Newington, Connecticut, has determined that the following individuals are authorized to be named on and act as signers of the organization's business credit card account. The authorized signers are Lisa Maston, Director, Karen Benner, Assistant Director, Leanne Wetherell Mankey, Treasurer. Resolved and entered into the official Board of Trustees meeting minutes this date, April 10th, 2023, submitted by Iris Larson, Secretary. So I make a motion that the resolution just read for the business credit card account be approved by the Board of Trustees.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. All those in favor? I'm sorry, discussion? No? All those in favor? Any opposed?
I have 20 checks left, so I have to do something.
Well, it's been a long time coming because we did some investigation and then it was a matter of not wanting to waste checks and other things that we have. So thank you for that. Thank you, Leanne. Anything else in your report?
No, unless there's people have questions on the treasurer's report.
Questions, anyone?
I just encourage you, if you're gonna send in sponsorship, trustee account, trustee sponsorships for the race, please do so in the next week or so. I appreciate it.
There's a question, what are the sponsors, what can only contribute to the race, the sponsor? Trustee
Level is 100,
under, okay.
but that doesn't
It could be
mean
more
you
for one.
can do more, less, none, whatever. It's, I mean, it's not.
Sky's the limit, Neil.
You're not compelled. But it would be nice.
Thank you. The one thing that I noticed, and I probably should have done it at the beginning of the meeting, but somehow race committee came off this, and I know we're gonna have to touch on that. So I can, when we get down towards the end, I can ask to have race committee added to the agenda, or I could do that now.
I would do it now.
You wanna do it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking for somebody to make an amendment to our agenda to add the race committee topic under, would it be, does it usually go under old business? Old business.
I make a motion that we amend the agenda to include race committee discussion under old business tonight.
Second.
Yeah. All those in favor? Any opposed? We'll have to proofread more closely next time, go through this. Next up would be library director's report, Lisa Master.
Sure. So on Saturday, the town hall was, they had solar panels added to the building, so they had to kill the power for about, I think it was about 4 hours, so. That could have affected us because our computer systems and our phone systems come out through the town hall, but it didn't. They put us on they had a workaround for us, so everything was fine. Nothing happened, so everyone went over really well. The facilities department is working with a company that, I don't know if I don't know if they're the original manufacturers of the skylights, but they know what the who the original manufacturer was and how it should have been put together. So they're gonna be coming and looking at the skylight and maybe dismantling parts of it, because there's still a small leak. But facilities is on it, so that's good. So I'll let you know more when we know exactly when that's gonna happen, but, they did a lot of work, with the big leak we had last summer, but then there's this little tiny leak that's still happening. Never, ever get skylights, that's my words of wisdom. We're continuing to do DEI training, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, with Yvonne Alston. She did a staff survey, and now we're doing staff focus groups with the different departments to talk about that, as well as better communication among the staff and with our patrons and with you. So I think it will be good. People seem really interested. I don't know if you've ever listened to her. She's very dynamic and she's very engaging. So it's really good stuff. It's really excited about it. Winter reading just finished for the adults, kids, and teens. Teens was very disappointing. That's a tough age group this time of year to get to do additional reading, because so they didn't get many participants. Children's had 154, adults we had 420, and they actually read about 2,100 books in 5 weeks, which I was pretty pleased with. The summer reading will kick off in June, and the theme is Find Your Voice, and it's part of the iRead program this year. It's different than what they've done in the past. Our programs for toddlers, the 1s, 2s, and 3-year-old story times are filling up immediately. So we're trying to figure out ways to offer some additional programming for that age group. One big program I wanted to tell you about that we're starting, and we have staff that are really excited about this program. we're gonna have a seed garden this year and a propagation station,
A home garden?
seed.
Oh, seed garden.
So we're working with, actually the senior center, they have the, giving garden. And Linda McDonald, who is a staff person here, is a volunteer over there as well. So she's helping us, they're gonna have the area where the tax forms are now is where we're gonna have it, but there's actually gonna be you can go in and pull out different seeds that you might want to plant in your garden. And, people can bring in seeds at the end of the season that we can repackage and save for next year. And the propagation is, clippings, we'll have, different people can take clippings from our area, or they can give us clippings. So there's gonna be a whole program that, people, will tell them the seeds that are available and what they have to do. There'd be instructions on the little envelope with the seeds. And, it's been a very popular program among libraries, and we have a lot of gardeners on our staff, which is good, because I'm not that person.
Somebody's got to.
Because as long as there's instructions.
Yeah, the propagation station will have instructions as well, how it works, how to donate, how to take what you want. And, the first program they're doing, Linda McDonald's actually doing this program. It's, you can, sign up to make your very own salad bowl garden. And they're gonna give you the, seeds that you need to do that. And then I said, if you're not a gardener, which is me, you can take houseplant clippings, which I won't, and be able to take them home and plant, once they root. So that would be kind of a fun new program that we're doing at the library throughout the whole summer. And a couple other ones I just wanted to mention, we're doing the teddy bear clinic again with the women's club, where they can, repair, not gently used stuffed
Precious-
animals.
precious loved ones.
I have a whole room full of babies for my dog. I should bring in. And then, Jen, Hubert's gonna do a digital security, like a tour of online safety with patrons. And, Karen's doing a fashion and fiction. There's gonna be Clothing Speaks Volume in Jane Austen's Regency novels, and someone comes in and talks about all the, clothing that she talked about in her books. And I think that's about it. I know Sheila's gonna talk a lot about, the book sale that's blooming, right? We did also do one other, we had the Alvarium Roasting Company. Now, Alvarium Brewery is now also has a roasting company, and they did a program for us for free. And they had samples, and I guess it was a fabulous program. People just loved it. And, it's kind of neat that you're doing, you're branching out like that. It started in 2020. So, there you go. That's all I have.
Any questions for Lisa?
I do have a question. I'm just curious about the diversity program that you mentioned. Is that something that the town offered, or the state library, or you just
No, we
did it yourself?
we did it. Well, part of it was, we've had a couple, I wouldn't say incidents, I don't like that word. But interactions with patrons that we probably could have handled better, and we recognized that. So we wanted to figure out a better way to handle a changing, population. We're getting, different, ethnic groups coming into the library and making them feel welcome, and also understanding, why people might have different reactions to different situations and how to handle it better. Also amongst staff, we have, some people have, changing, different religions, whatever, on staff, and better understanding, better communication among staff. So we decided to do it ourselves.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Assistant Library Director's report, Karen.
Okay, Lisa's talking about programs. I think we mentioned that we were going to have a ukulele program. So we did have it. We now have 8 circulating ukuleles. Five. The program was great. It was everything we ever wanted to know about ukuleles, but we're afraid to ask. There was a good group here. It was co-sponsored by Newington Parks and Rec. And they are actually giving lessons now. I think they started on April 6th or whatever, but it was a nice combination of sort of the history of the instrument along with intermittent, singing, and, he would play his ukulele. So it was really fun.
Have we had many people taking them out?
We had people take them out initially, and
Yeah.
then we're hoping to do another program in the summer something to do with ukuleles to keep the interest. Plus, they're having a concert, right?
Yeah.
People taking lessons, poor people, they have a recital or something.
Many of the people that were at the program brought their own ukuleles too, like it was like
A
a
hit.
following. Yeah, it was like, wow. So anyway, Michelle Royer and I attended a Heart Saver CPR AED class, sponsored by the Chamber, and it was run by Newington EMS. It was worthwhile. I had never done it. She had done it before. But I don't think we had anybody certified for a while, so it was, there were a lot of people. It was a small room and there were like 18 people, so it was a little, sometimes hard to hear and stuff, but it was, I felt like it was intense. I was telling Lisa, you know, you had to, show your skill set and, you had to pass, whatever. And it was, there you were on the floor in front of 16 other people and, boy, if you missed a step at all, had to start from the beginning, do it over again. But it was good. I
At
learned
least
a
no
lot.
one died.
Nobody died.
Do we have AEDs posted?
We do, but my concern is they were posted a long time ago and I don't know if they still would work. And that's something we should check, but it was donated by, I think the Newington ambulance donated.
Certified folks.
Hmm?
Who goes and certifies, make sure that they're still.
No one that I know of.
And where are they?
The only one we have is right near the, it's in the new book area. On the column there.
But someplace like, Cintas is fire safety, but wouldn't the EMTs know?
No, I don't, they've never come around on a regular basis and certified it. No.
We did have, a patron, who requested some additional assistive technology. The patron is hearing impaired, and she was looking for us to provide a speech to text option at live programs. And I think what she asked and the research that you had done initially was she wanted to have almost something akin to a stenographer,
A live stenographer,
person, and what was the cost?
$1 a minute.
So we happened to mention it to Jamie Trevithan, the senior center director, and she said, oh, same person asked us this question, and she said, I was gonna try Zoom. So that's what we did, and lo and behold, we found out, Zoom does have a feature. So if we have a live presenter here, we can just put Zoom up and it will translate what's being spoken. So anyway, we're looking a little bit further into that, but that was kind of something that we had been working on this last month, trying to find something that would, accommodate and the only other thing I was gonna add to Lisa, when Lisa was talking about the fashion and fiction, is that she will be, this is a Victorian lady, she has like these, I don't know, little clothing statue models. Mannequins, thank you. And she does dress and undress. She puts on a number of different outfits of the Jane Austen.
From Skin Out?
Yes, from Skin Out. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions for Karen? Yeah. Thank you. Next up would be Friends of the Library, Sheila Rom.
Okay, I don't know if anybody noticed, but we talked out in the back. We now have lamps on the shed, and we now have flower boxes. It was a student, an explorer project, and he just finished it up this week. And they would love that.
How sad is it that I saw the ramp and not the flower boxes?
Your priorities are.
We have to pay.
His name is Justin Cerise. And his mom and dad did a whole lot with it. Every time he was over here, they were over here with him.
He's been a long time Boy Scout volunteer for the book sale. I remember seeing him as he's.
Gee, I wonder how we ever thought of a ramp.
The book sale, speaking of volunteers, we have volunteers that are coming in, student volunteers for the book sale too. We had some special donation days, because some members felt we didn't have quite enough books. So we have more. And the students were absolutely fantastic. They do a great job and they have fun amongst themselves and we enjoy working with them. We had some interesting donations. The book sale is going to be, have a lot more than just books. We recently, this week.
Last week,
Last week.
we had
We
3
had
days to
a,
get it done.
5,000 CD donation, which is a lot of CDs. And they were half of them were in, the standard.
Plus DVDs, you're not,
Plus
don't forget the
DVDs,
DVD.
yes, there were DVDs too. We have sets of them. We have, whole seasons of TV shows, old TV shows, if any of you like to watch your old, TV shows that you were favorite of when you were younger.
Brady Bunch,
Brady Bunch.
Partridge Family. Those days.
Wow.
Yeah. So we went through every single one of them and had a lot of people sitting here just going through them and checking them for scratches and sealing them and packing them. And so those are all set to go. We have quite a lot of books. We have gotten a lot of donations of really, really beautiful children's books that really look like they're new, that they haven't even been opened. They're just lovely. So that's a big plus. We have a teddy bear sale that's going on, as an extension of the teddy bear sale that's out in the fence corner right now. We have, a couple of boxes of pictures, that were donated from a deceased friend. We have, what else? We have, what's else? I keep
Puzzle.
telling you,
There's a lot of
puzzles,
miscellaneous
puzzles,
stuff.
we have zillion puzzles. We have games,
And I think the senior center will be set up as well to sell plants again, like they are giving garden.
so please, join us and, have fun, it's, and we're looking forward to having fun.
Yeah.
I had a question, I saw on my friend's newsletter that, you do the, nonprofits on Sunday afternoon.
Monday afternoon, 3 to 4.
And I just wondered, do we send those out to, the nonprofits beyond, because it came to me as a friend. I just wondered, because I put it out, I'm on the Southfield Children's Center board, I sent it to the director, so she's aware of it, but I wondered if we put it out like that.
It's pretty much just for the school system.
I think they reached out to the schools and the teachers.
I was thinking preschools, for like those children's books and things like that. Okay.
We have, we can certainly put that on a list to do in the future, because we do it every time.
Well, I know we have a couple of nonprofits in town, and, obviously, they're strapped too, so free books are great.
There's a staff preview for any volunteer or town, library volunteer or town employee or board of ed employee from 2:30 to 4:30 on Friday, if you want to come.
Any questions for Sheila and friends? No? Sounds like quite the big weekend.
Yeah.
All those
Lots of different products coming out there. That's great.
bottleneck and all those CDs.
I figure where we're gonna put them in. There is a lot of them.
Sounds
There's a lot
like
of people that I've called a couple of people and said, we're having this, and people who might not are saying, oh, yeah, I'll come over. Great, people from outside of Newington, because, I want, and most of these are, they're kind of set up by genre, and, he had them all in.
He had them
Whatever.
alphabetically.
I mean,
Well, that's nice for the friends, so they came relatively organized.
but they've been in little boxes, big boxes, tall, those
Towers.
towers, plastic containers,
Wow.
lots of different stuff, but, he had quite a few, and some he had, done himself, which we pulled out, but, yeah.
super, super. Thank you. Okay, nobody's online still, right? Committee reports? Budget?
Well, Dave gave the report, unless Lisa and Karen, you have anything more to add?
No, just that we're waiting for, we had the meeting in May.
Yeah.
that was on the Saturday, right?
It was on a Saturday.
March,
May, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, May's not here yet.
May. Yeah, right. March 25th, yeah.
And I want to thank the people that did show up. I know Pauline and Anna were there for a while, and Leanne was there for a while. Maureen, were you there for a while?
Yes.
You were there for a while. What was nice about it is that when they talked about the library board and then the team position, they invited Lisa to come up. So obviously Lisa was there. They invited Lisa to come up and speak about the library team position, and I think that also helps. It certainly wasn't a requirement for her to go, but she gave up part of her Saturday to go, and I think it was helpful just in general understanding, if nothing else, to see what happened. So if that position is still in the budget along with the other things that are normally typically in our budget. So that was nice. Thank you for all of you that were able to make the time to show up. It was a long process for the counselors. We were there for an incredibly long amount of time, and we weren't there for the whole time. So that whole process.
They
is-
moved through the agenda very
It's raining,
slowly.
kind of good, then you don't feel
Thank
hot.
goodness, yes, that was the rainy day. That was the rainy day,
Yeah.
thank you. That was the rainy day. The other day was the sunny day, so that part worked out pretty well, but, you know, there is a lot of work that the town does, all the departments putting together their budgets, and then, just, they review it. I was ready to say next, but they review it, and, so it was nice to see the town, paying attention to all of that. Next up would be PEP, planning, evaluation, and policy.
I don't have too much to say, other than there are a couple people that, did not mail in their, library director evaluation.
And one of them,
Me too.
Okay.
Did you get mine?
Yes, I did, and Leanne said that. I get just panicky emails from everybody. Forgot to do it. But those people, I'll be reaching out if I don't receive them. They'll have the report time for next month. And that situation about the, food in the library, our library director went through our policy and determined that there is a good enough policy for food in the library. So that we.
Yeah, it was updated in 2020, I think, or 2019, and it was pretty clear about what food was acceptable and what food wasn't. So I think we would be fine if somebody rejected.
Under policies, and we have something about public participation, right? Can I get a copy of that?
Sure.
I want to share it, actually want to share it with town council. I don't know if they'll address it or steal parts of it or whatever, but we've had a couple of people that are a little crazy. This is my personal opinion, so I don't know if they have a policy or anything, but I just thought I'd share with them what goes on. So if we had a copy of that, you just send me that, see the wording.
No?
I'm sorry, you were talking about.
Yeah, you know, this is just me. This is
The
just
town,
me.
the council does have a policy on public participation.
Is it just
It's
timed or is it?
it's 3 for the public, it's 3 minutes for each participant.
And I think our
You
policy,
can't double dip within the same session, and there are 2 participation times. Somewhere towards the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting.
yeah, and I think our policy, if I remember correctly, goes into a little bit more of what you can say, or what's
Decorum.
decorum, thank you. I was gonna say mismanners, but yeah, decorum of what can happen, what
On the
cannot
council
happen.
side, if it's a special meeting, it has to be related to what the topic is for that meeting. If it's a regular meeting, so to speak, you can speak to whatever.
Agenda item.
Agenda items, yes.
Right. So again, I just want to see it, to see if it can, you know, I want to remind myself what that is. We have in the library in the past, we have occasionally had public participation at a board meeting that was less than polite, shall we say, and oddly and scarily enough, we've also had public participation at an event where we've had a speaker. And it was, again, less than polite and not right. only has to happen once for you to say, you know what, we need to set something up so that we have a way to deal with this. Most often, everything is fine and nothing happens, but I was just thinking, when I was at the meeting that,
If I might, there's one other thing, the council does not respond during public participation, so it doesn't get into a conversation.
right,
So
absolutely.
this isn't a response piece after public participation?
There is a time where councils, if they wish to respond, they can. I know that the mayor has said on occasion that, someone will get back to you if it's a viable thing that needs to be answered, either the town manager or whatever, in some form or other, that if it's necessary.
Yeah. I just saw something in a meeting and I was reminded of the one or two incidences that we had had at the library, so I wanted to see the policy and see if that would help, so. It may not address what I was thinking happens, but if it did, I knew that we had that, so I don't know if we have two different policies for like public attending, or it's a single policy
I
for
think it's
public
a single
participation,
policy.
whether it be an event or.
Oh, no, there's a
meeting.
behavior policy, and then there's a public participation. I'll send you both.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
could, thank
sure.
you. The national. Thank you. Any other thoughts or questions for Pat? No? Okay. Investment, Neil.
Earlier this morning, I mailed out our March 31st report. And, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but as of March 31st, 23, our portfolio stands at $714,930.14. So for the month of March, we had a good month. We were up $10,473.92. So anyway, for the year, dollar wise, we're up $32,420. I think it's about maybe 4%, a little less than 4%, right? So we're off to a good start. The first quarter of the year, we're up $32,000. We don't always have bad years. The market has always been kind of choppy for the past 2 months, but our portfolio is doing well, has done well so far this year. And talk about the restricted funds, and you can see that 68.81% of our portfolio is restricted. That.
How much was that now?
Anyway, so let's say March is a good month. The first quarter's been good. And, that's really all to say. Well, it's good news.
Always less to say when it's good.
That's good news. No problem. I mean, I won't say no problem, but so far we're doing well. Yeah, so. Any questions or?
Does anyone have questions for Neil on the investment committee? None at this time. Thank you, Neil.
Sure.
House committee, Diane. So I did not send out the House committee report. However, I did receive it. And I'm sorry, I'll send it out after this meeting. Many of the things are being ticked off that list, and I also know that this is the season. I know Carolyn opened up a lot of work orders for some of the outside work that was identified. And it's always good to tickle the facilities department and Parks and Rec and the others in the town that work together to keep our facility and site looking so good as we go forward. So I know a lot of those were opened. There's been a lot of painting going on the report. I'm sorry. I didn't get that. Trying to format it and send it in a way that was readable, and then somehow I never hit the send. So I apologize for that. We're still waiting on fabric samples for the chairs, and I think we'll do the chairs, and then we'll try to work in the fabrics for the curtains, I guess we'll call them draperies, window treatments that we're trying to update here. Anybody have any questions? Has anybody seen anything? You know, I would strongly suggest if you're coming into the library and you see something that doesn't look right, it's like, oh my gosh, a bush has fallen over, or what is this here? Or does anybody know there's a crater in the parking lot? You just I'm just using examples, our parking lot is relatively new, so I'm not expecting that. But please, bring it to our attention. Do that, staff is very good about doing that. I have not driven by, Cedar Street, our lights timed for the nighttime. Have they been changed out since daylight savings time? I don't know. Okay. It's usually more critical when we go dark early than when we're light. I just want to make sure, if anybody that's here at nighttime can just go out and make sure that all the lights are working, that helps.
I just have one thing about the curtains. I just wanted to base with you three to discuss just the final fabric selections. And if you wanted to do different fabrics in each room, or you want to go with one, because then I'll do the purchase and get started on those.
Okay. So we're delaying a little bit until we figure out, what's going on with the chair fabrics that we're looking to replace. Not that everything, I'm expecting things to be matchy, but I don't want to go in one direction
No,
or
I
another
agree.
when we're spending
So-
money within a month of each other.
So we'll discuss that, but, I mean, I finally got to the point where I can work on that. So
Okay,
I
great.
apologize for the delay.
No problem. Any thoughts or questions on trust committee? Okay. Okay. Facility on site, Maureen Lyons.
I heard from the architects and they are starting to work the views and the lookbook layout. So possibly by the end of this week, but by next week, hopefully we'll have a draft that we can review and discuss it with them. And we had offered some changes from the last blueprints they sent us, minor, more positioning of a space and, they are incorporating those changes. But for instance, on the second floor, they had staff offices, well, I should say administrative offices in one section, and we recommended that they move it closer to where other staff was. So that everybody was in a group, separate but equal, so to speak, and they did that. There's a lot of good space that is flexible space. So, once the real McCoy happens, it's not etched in stone that Lisa has to have her office here. It could be over here, but we gave them some suggestions. So they're working on those on the layout, and hopefully we'll see a draft in the near future. I would hope, if not by the end of this week, sometime during the week of the 17th.
Thank you. Questions? Anna?
So when we have the draft, will you be calling a committee meeting so that we can sit and go over it together and provide input?
Yeah, yes, the committee should certainly look at it, but I wonder if maybe the whole board should see it.
Well,
At the
an
same
open,
time.
an
Yeah.
open meeting.
Yeah. So, it's not just, I'm just not gonna look at it, yes, absolutely, because there
So
are,
we can do what we did before. We can call a committee meeting and invite everybody
and
like
have
we do for
everybody
the,
participate. if they
for
so
the
desire.
annual walkthrough or what have you. We can invite all to attend.
And there's been no formal meetings or anything with the town, but every time I've been at a town meeting or run into town personnel, they ask about our expansion. It is discussed amongst them. So, they know we have something in the offing, and hopefully we can get something in their hands soon.
Okay, any questions, thoughts? No, thank you. Fund development, Anna.
So prior to the meeting getting started, I distributed flyers for your consideration. If you recall, the last couple of years, we've been doing this email campaign utilizing footnotes and their mailing list. And and we did this last year, and so it's time to take a look at new flyers and for approval this year. I emailed this earlier in the day. I don't know if people had a chance to look at it. The first flyer, I was thinking, the one with the picture of the little boy on it is the one that I'm proposing to go out in June. And the back is the same backing that the tweets were last December. The other flyer is identical to the one that we used last December. In terms of timing, you know, it's December, people are thinking, you know, maybe some people are thinking year-end giving. And it just reinforces it. I don't know that people have short attention span, so like, let's just use what's successful. I just wanted to make sure that we have the space in the footnotes to be doing it in June and December. Okay, so we're clear with that. Last year, we allocated $1,000 to do this printing, and we can, you know, open up the conversation and talk about whether you like this idea or not. And then I can move forward with the motion based on that conversation.
First question is, was that money enough?
Don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't have my computer in front of me and I didn't know to check before it came, so I believe we were actually under that. If I-
We don't have to bump that up with inflation.
I think we were, for some reason, 400 and 500. So we were just under.
I've never seen the invoices, so I don't know.
I'm speaking off the top of my head, but I believe we were okay for that. For the amount of money. I can double check it, but like I said, I think we were adequate for the numbers that you had, as long as the numbers are the same in terms of.
I think you have to do at least, excuse me, sorry, you have to do at least 500 because we were short on the mailing. We bumped it up, so I can check, get you a quote.
You
wanna
did,
do
you
that?
did, you did bump it up.
The second one out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
the
one.
second one was more expensive than the
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
So we should be okay.
I
mean,
mean, authorized $1,200.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Sounds good.
But the content, and you like this approach? I don't know. I honestly don't know how these ideas come to me. But.
Can I ask, is this, so this goes out over email and mail?
No, we've not done email.
Oh, not
It's
email,
an
okay.
insert in the friends.
Oh, in the doc, okay. I'm sorry, you said, maybe I just heard mail.
But that's
Okay,
something
yeah.
you should think about because there's a good chunk of the friends that don't get, they get it via email, the
Yeah.
footnotes via email,
And who sends that out?
the friends.
The friends. So we'd have to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, it would just have to be, I think, in PDF format and
Yeah.
just attach it.
Mhm.
I'm sure they would if we asked.
Yeah.
Right, Sheila?
That's an audience we didn't want to reach out to.
Yeah.
Is there someone,
I'm not the one that does it.
yes,
Sure, it's not a problem.
who does it, do we know?
Terry Begansky does it.
Gary?
Yeah, but we can ask her to do it. Give her the file.
So are we ready to go back and look for a second from Andy's motion?
Second,
Colin Crush.
Okay.
Did you get that motion? Okay. Any further?
I just want to make sure that you're okay with what's being presented and just reusing the ones from
I
December.
commend you on your
Yeah, it looks very
creativity.
good.
I'm not, this is not my bailiwick, but I like it.
It's not overly wordy, it's nice, it's simple, clear.
Yeah.
Can I ask a librarian question?
Sure.
So in the,
The backs are the same, you know.
oh, so you have the, okay, so you have the quote by Margaret Mead, which I loved in the flyer, in the other flyer.
Mhm.
And then you have another, what I thought was like a quote. Which is it's people who understand the need.
I'm not even sure where that came from. It's just stuck
Okay.
inside.
Okay, I just feel like that looks to me like it should be a quote, and I don't know if it is, but do you know what I mean? Like it looks like it might, I don't know if it's the formatting that looks like it would be quoted. Or if that's just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Or the way that it's formatted, maybe.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
The one here.
It's people who understand the need. You know, I wonder if maybe it's just the way that it's italicized and
Yeah.
formatted, it looks like a quote, but
Could
then
be
it's
an
not
and a
cited.
It could
Yeah, I would
be.
add the exact, I'd put the attribution. in
Yeah.
Eddie.
I'm not sure if it's me. I don't know. I mean,
It is now.
It's like anyone on this board.
And I'm trying to think of how you, I almost wonder if it should be like this, straight down, maybe next to the photograph of the boy. Although I understand formatting and moving things around is can be a real pain in the butt, so. I don't know, that's just my, like, you know, yeah, I don't know.
So I'm not quite sure
So
what you
I
meant,
think
but,
to have the picture here and have the.
Yeah, have the.
have it more,
Have the
more
legend
line.
next to
Yeah.
the text next to the picture.
Yeah.
God, I can do that.
I don't know what program do you use to make it?
Publisher.
Yeah, that would be easy.
Oh, just move the picture up.
Would it be easier
Like
now?
this.
Okay, because I know that sometimes it could throw it all off and I don't wanna, I just wonder that might be.
Simple.
Got it. I can move it, I can move it up and probably make the picture a little bit bigger and then.
Right.
put the-
I love that, I think that would be, because then again, it's separating it too from the text that you have above as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that.
No, we don't have to worry about the quotes.
It's just, I can't.
All right. Thank you. Very- So we can vote now, I guess.
Okay, so we do have a motion of not to exceed 1,200 for the printing of these flyers to be added into the 2 footprint mailings.
Footnotes.
Seconded.
Footnotes.
Second.
Well, there was a second.
It's very hard enough when you live in Newington to get those words right. So I had, do you have it? Who said what?
Andy made the motion and then Pauline seconded.
Okay, great. Any further discussion on this? No, all those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Yeah, and I think if you make that change, we're
Yeah.
ready to go. If you want a proofreader, I suggest Fiona.
Okay, so there's one other thing I would like to bring up. I've been doing a lot of work with the sponsorship for, I think it's probably a dozen years now. And I sent an email to the executive board back in January, letting them know my future plans. And my future plans include a lot more traveling and a lot less networking. And I will be away for the entire month of November, which is when I so I've let Diane and the executive board know that I will not be the sponsor coordinator going forward. I just can't do it. There's too many other distractions in my life that require my attention.
Are you willing to mentor someone?
I am willing to mentor someone. I had suggested a succession planning meeting and to talk about, to just take a look at what we're doing. We have not done that as a board. Why are we doing the race? What are our needs for doing the race? How is it going to continue? And and just having a brainstorming session on future direction. And, where to put our energies and resources. It's not a conversation for this meeting, but I just wanted everyone else to be aware that that's my plan for the future.
Thank you, Anna. So, my plan was to bring it up under race committee because that's your, that's really where you reach out to get most of the sponsorships and do that as it goes through. And my thought would be that we would be calling a meeting after the race. I think there's a couple of major questions that you brought up. One was, do we continue to run the race or don't we? When Anna first brought it up, we had not gotten these large sponsors. I think we would look to the treasurer report to see what does it cost us to run a race? What does it bring in? The board itself has expenses. We need to pay for insurance for ourselves. We need to pay insurance when we have events, different things like that that go on. So there are things that the Board of Trustees carry as expenses.
So we have to have money somewhere, somehow to do that. So if all of our donations were restricted, we would have to find some way to come up with that money, right? So, those are the things. Anna has, been working towards this for a while. That's part of the reason that she created, I think she was looking forward, as she always does, when she created that task force and who does what. As she tries to be not the sole person or almost the sole person who has done this for so many years and done a good job. So I would be looking to have that meeting, have that discussion after our May meeting, whether it's, I think it would start individually and then open it up to the board as that goes through. But, I don't blame you for wanting to travel. I don't know how Anna comes up with all of these, and I don't know how she does all these other things, except that I do know that she basically does not sleep. So I think, for the interest of the board and for handoff and everything else, we would be looking for several people to step up and try to piece part some of these things, but we would still need an overall coordinator to make sure that we're hitting those marks and doing those things, so.
I can give you some general information as to where we are standing in terms of what our yearly expenses are. Last year was an unusual year, our June of 2022 year, in terms of looking at the P&L right now. We had 2 races in that year, so we had.
I don't think that's a conversation for
But
now.
what I'm just saying is that we basically break even, is what we do. Our expenses run about $24,000, and we usually bring in around 24,000. That's restricted and unrestricted funding, but that's about what we're running. We're running pretty much close to the, what we're bringing in. Last year was a larger year because we had the second race. So we had another $10,000 of income.
So I'm not clear. So the race breaks even or?
No,
our
I'm
expenses
talking
are-
overall what we bring in. So the rate, if we were to remove the race from as a revenue stream, we'd have to find something that brings in somewhere in the realm of $8,000 to $10,000.
So that,
8 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's good to know. Put that in your thoughts for when we have that meeting. And then, I think we're good for that. Do you have other comments, Ian?
well, I mean, there's a, since Leanne just brought it up, I mean, there's other factors to consider too. It's, the time involved, not just our time, but also staff time. I mentioned to Diane, it's, part of our role is to look out for the staff. And, are we being a burden to the staff by putting on such a large event where they have, they are so hands-on. And, when we need to, we need to think about that too. It's not just us. And, I mean, one of the things that we could do if we, put our minds to it, I mean, we have a way of, collecting money through legacy champions. And, if we focus on, which we collectively work hard on recruiting people to make donations.
So that's the monthly donation.
The monthly donations, yeah, the recurring donations. 100 people donating $10,000 a month would give us what we
$10.
needed. $10.
There's a couple of legacy donors and it's broke and I thought,
I'm thinking big. I'm always
floating zeros.
Anna, how many legacy champions do we have signed up?
2.
That'd be you and me, right?
What if we did like
Every
a
one of
library?
you, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here. There's a leadership responsibility that comes with serving on a board. Every one of you should be a legacy champion. I don't care if it's $1, $10, $10,000. Every one of you should do it because it's important when you go out in the community and ask other people to say, I do it. Every member of the board does. So please,
100%, did
Do
you
this.
say everyone? What if we did like a give day, like a big like fundraiser give day?
Well, that's what Giving Tuesday is all about, right?
Yeah,
She does the Giving
true.
Tuesday, she does.
But we haven't reached out, we've reached out to the sponsors for Giving to the,
Right.
but that's that, having that brainstorming meeting and talking about different ways that, do we stick with this path or is it time to go down another path? what was the origins of the race?
Was a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser. And it was an opportunity to put a spotlight on the library.
Actually, I think it was the board. It was, no, I meant, well, it wasn't the library itself, it was more the trustees and base. So people know that,
Yeah.
the difference between a board and the friends and the.
And the town, our three-legged stool again.
Yeah.
So, and just to get back to that, the board members have traditionally sponsored the 5K race, and that's what's going in. If you choose to do the sponsor for the race, or you want to switch over to the legacy champions, you're still giving. So, the fact that there are two people that have switched their payment methods from a once or, you know, however often they send the checks in to a monthly, you know, what is it?
Automatic.
Set it and forget it kind of thing. That's all appreciated by the Board of Trustees and the board, so you can figure out what works best for you. If you are going to be promoting that, you can even use it to say, you know, we used to write a big check a year, now I do the $10,000 a month. You know, no worries, don't ever have to think about it again. So, you know, to that point, I just want to recognize and thank the people that have been giving steadily throughout. Okay, so we will set up, when we get through with the race this year, we'll set up, as you call it, a succession meeting, figuring out what happens.
And I'm gone 2 weeks in June.
Okay. So nominations, there are no nominations this time of the year, but it's coming up quickly. And then I'll move right into communications for Christine.
I don't know where my name is on. Well, we talk, so.
We talk. Because Christine, you were brave enough to stand in the front there at the beginning of the year, and I was looking for volunteers to say that you would co-chair with it, so there you are.
Primarily race-based, that's not bad, rate 5K challenge-based promotions right now. Like I said in the race meeting, so we did the press release that will go out to Newington Life. I need to figure out the publication, because I submitted the M&T article and I don't know like what, if they're like a month, do you know what I mean?
I think it's yeah. Well,
Cause that was the deadline for March. I
I think
submitted
it
that,
depends on
what else is being
right,
published, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind
and
of.
they might bump you
Yeah. they might.
until the following month
Right.
or something.
Or if it's time based, then they might bump it off altogether if they end up not doing it. So it's kind of hard to say. But so submitted the M&T story to Newington Life as well with photos. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I'll be there. And also the Fox 61, potentially they're going to be promoting the race. Again, I think it'll probably be closer to the date, and I think I'll have, I think Keith will be able to give me a time frame, so I'll reach out to him again on that. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and a lot of the social media, obviously, that Michelle's doing, and I'm sharing out to the town groups, Newington Facebook groups. I'll keep sharing that information out as well.
And have we reached out to other news stations, you know, the local news stations to put something on their calendar? I just know that, you know, sometimes when I'm listening to the weather and the news and whatever, and they're like, oh, and this weekend there's the Durham Fair, and this
Right.
weekend there's this event.
So you mean like radio?
Radio,
Radio and TV?
radio and TV, you know, if they have, you know, the freebie public relations thing.
Right.
Do they, yeah, it's a public service announcement.
Sure.
Do they still do those?
They do,
on a
they do.
Regular basis?
In the morning, he'll say you're
Yeah,
going
but-
to whatever.
That's a little different. The PSAs are scheduled almost the same way a commercial would be scheduled. You know, you submit your information. You don't get priority because you're not paying, but,
I don't know if they do public
announce it
service,
on a
but-
regular basis.
What I'm thinking of and what I'm remembering is they go through and they say, oh, and it's great weather this weekend, they're having the Newington Library, you know,
Yeah.
fundraiser, they're having the cancer walk, they're having the, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's really
Right,
off the cuff
right,
saying
but
it.
then the PSAs, at least in the old days, you know, you would submit your information, you're nodding because we're, and I worked in radio years ago, you know, people would send their announcements in, whether it was a Mother's Day flower sale or whatever. And you would schedule, the scheduler, the traffic person would put it in a schedule and in a rotation, and it would, sometimes it was 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it was 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
But
reach out.
they were read frequently.
Okay. I don't have any other contacts, but I can, I don't know if anyone else does, but I can just cold email, I'm happy to do that. or
You
call.
said Gary and Steve are gonna do that.
Yes, so
I can tell you that, 88.9 WJMJ.
Oh, yeah, they do it.
They do it, and I've gone on to their website at least 2 times
Okay,
and submitted the information.
and they just do it from that.
I've never heard it,
Oh.
and I listen to that radio station, but I mean, not constantly.
Now at 3 in the morning.
Not at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
But I do listen to it when I'm in the
My
car.
mother-in-law listens to it if she could remember. It's her here.
The other thing is, I know lots of times on TV, they submit pictures, so I don't know if we submitted a picture from last year's starting line
I
or
submitted a
something.
picture to Keith.
I'm thinking
but
the
maybe
TV
it
station,
can be-
radio probably doesn't care about a picture. but,
Right, or their website, they can promote it, actually, I have to ask them about that.
You know, just anything like that, you know, upcoming events.
No, I know, it's just easier sometimes, I can just text him as opposed to sending a blank email, I don't know who it's necessarily going to, but yeah. Okay,
You know, and that's the weekend of, you know, maybe if they say it on Saturday, our race is on Sunday.
We have.
That's gotta be a huge audience, and I'm gonna date myself, you know, channel 3, channel 8, channel 30,
Yeah.
whatever was,
no, it is huge.
I don't even know. what the-
And we have Gary Byron too, right? Gary
And-
Byron.
Right, we have Gary Byron and Steve Parker. Just that thought, somebody else to add on that list.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't have any contacts. I
No, that's
just know
okay,
that-
I didn't know if anyone had email addresses, but that's fine, I can.
They must have
But
it.
I guess
It's on the
communication
website.
foundation on the website, yeah. Interesting, okay.
I don't know, right to the weather.
This guy, actually, he's
Well,
probably
and-
on social media, I could probably message him over Facebook. I'm trying to think of the best, if you get someone in particular, maybe they can say you, oh, like, reach out to this person. or something.
There have been a couple of posts on Facebook promoting the race.
Yeah.
I share my, you know, so you see it that way.
That's great, yeah, any kind of word of mouth we can encourage.
I did share with my, school. I sent out an email, so if anyone has that, you know, work-wise, if you have people around here that you would be interested, so we got one person signed up.
Good.
For my school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, any other questions or thoughts for communications? No, thank you. All right, we'll move into old business. Hanel, we were able to grab not only a performer, but a date on the library's calendar. What's that date again? It's
I think
December?
it's December 2nd. It's a Saturday evening.
Oh,
He had something going on Sunday.
We can't do Sundays either.
Yeah,
it's Larry,
Larry
Garrett.
Garou.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna do.
And
a
so he'll be
holiday.
doing a holiday themed concert, and he usually gets the whole audience involved, so. I mentioned it now, so you can mark it on your calendars, come back from wherever you are, and
We're still working on a second one. I have met with Bailey and they have a couple of things they're interested in, but
for the
we
children.
don't quite have enough information for you yet. I think we mentioned last time that, a real priority is a concert, in Anita Wilson's memory that's gotten put off for a couple of years.
Mhm.
So I think they're gonna probably focus on that first, possibly in the summer. And then depending on what this other group has to say about timing, we'll get you information as soon, as soon as we can. We're just not there yet.
Okay, so we do have the one locked in, and we're still looking for the second one. All right,
And the second one is focused on the children. On children.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that's
That's
what
the
we've
direction
been
you're going, yeah.
kind of,
right, there's no age limit, it doesn't have to be cultural,
It's just.
it just needs to be cultural. It doesn't need to be music, it just needs to be cultural. right? Didn't we have like the make the little books or something? in
Yeah.
that one?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, a little different. Okay, and now is my inserted race committee, even though we seem to have, hit it a couple of times. I was gonna talk about the success in there. Many of you were at the meeting. Next month's meeting is gonna start at 6. Please be there. It's critical that you attend the race meetings, especially the one right before the race. So I'm hoping that you can do that. I know Leanne is not able to be at the race. Is there anyone else here at the board that cannot be at the race on race day?
I will be there, but I will be there probably, I'm gonna be away that weekend, but I'll be back, I'll be coming back early that morning. So hopefully I will be there, right at 9, but not before, likely not before.
Andy, Ron was asking if you were gonna be there to put you on the race course.
Yeah.
Okay, he just wanted to ask specifically if he would do one of the
So the
intersections.
two things that he nominated for you, because I think you had mentioned before, one was to be on the race course and one was to walk through the neighborhood ahead of time and pass out flowers.
No.
No, that
Neil
wasn't
wasn't
in
in
there.
there.
So it was Neil and who else? Neil and Ron and, oh, and Kevin. Sorry, you're off the book for
I'll
that.
do whatever you want.
There was something else, though.
That's the 21st, right?
Yes,
There were two things.
Yeah, there were 2 things.
the little sprinters or little readers.
No, I don't think that.
Oh, we're not trying to
Yeah.
figure out the
The race
course
course.
Yeah,
And what was going on in coordinating with the,
and having so the students know how to manage the children.
And that was gonna be, I thought Kevin was gonna do that. with-
No,
Jake.
Kevin's not involved with that.
Oh, he's not.
no, it's the board. So let's figure that out. So, who is it from the school?
Jake.
Jake
Christopher.
Jay Crusoe. So we were gonna try to map out where and maybe measure out. Is that something you're comfortable taking on, reaching him and figuring out where we would set up a race course for the little runners?
Me? I know nothing of this.
Anna nominated.
you weren't here, so your name got brought up.
How long is the,
I'll have to look at the description of now.
25 yards, 50 yards.
No, I think it's back and forth.
So do 25 and then back and forth, so it's 50.
Yeah, and so for the older kids, they would run it like 4 times, whatever.
Oh, they run it 4 times.
The older kids, it's like 2
We
groups
have
of
2
runners,
groups of kids
Oh.
2 or
really
3 year olds.
and still.
So 2, 3, and then 4, 5. Got it, okay.
Or you can just put a bunch of cones up.
Obstacle course.
So basically, the thought is, and if you don't feel that you can do this, speak up now rather than later. But the thought is that along our grassy slope there by the arborvitae, somewhere in between the Friends shed and the arborvitae that are there, probably, closer to the arborvitae, we would set up some kind of a course. We'd have cones. How long is it gonna be? How would we direct people? Is there a part of the lawn that looks better? We probably don't want them running if there's a slope. I know they did a lot of grading back there when we did the parking lot and stuff. So, hopefully we could set up a little course there, have cones, have whether it's streamers or some kind of plastic tape or, I keep thinking construction tape, go figure.
I just realized, what if the ground is wet, if there's rain?
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that could be bad.
I don't know if it gets mucky there though.
That area, since they put the drainage in, has been much
So it
better
might dry, if it's rainy the night before, for example.
that-
it could be.
that weekend. But,
Hmm.
my understanding from our conversation before was it was primarily meeting with the group so they could run it. The coaches and the kids.
Identify the area, figure it out.
Identify the area and let them know what we expect them to do. Not the day of.
is there a problem with running it on a Garfield Street?
I don't know that I want to, and I
Well,
don't know
if they
that I
fall.
want children that are that young
it's-
running on
You get hurt?
Garfield. Garfield.
You're gonna have to issue knee pads and
It's 2-year-olds though, they fall.
Well, not only if they fall.
Two-year-olds, you don't have any problem.
They just bounce.
Last year, we had a problem with cars driving through the barriers and not caring. So if we had them run on Garfield Street, there's an awful lot of adults
Yeah, we
that
can
have to
stop
be,
that.
well,
It's just, I mean, because we're gonna have all the cones that we pulled off the course. Yeah, I mean, that, you can pay like that, but at the.
I would
if we run
prefer
it
to set
on
it
a-
up in the parking lot rather than Garfield Street.
The only other one I'm familiar with, which is Southington, they run it on the road, they run right on Main Street. And they have different lengths, so they'll have one line for 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. You know, for your age, you go to whatever color line you're supposed to go to, and that way, all of the parents and grandparents and friends and whoever, and everybody who just wants to watch the cute little kids run. They've got lots of room on both
So
sides.
everybody starts at the same time?
Everybody starts.
We've been holding back, Andy, you know more than you.
Yeah, you just said you didn't know anything.
The race course, that's why I thought you were talking about picking out a
No.
horse, so I mean, that would be my suggestion is to line up all the kids. However, you know, across the road, 2 deep, 3 deep. And they get in the lane for their age group or not. And they run until they get to the, what line corresponds with their age. It's all over in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we could start it after all the runners are off and all the walkers are off, and then it's done within very short period.
That's what I thought I read. That
Yeah.
it's a photo.
And
It
something
gets
for
out
them, something for them to do while.
And to fill in that empty space in between the runners coming in and waiting for.
It's just
the-
that's a tough, I think it's a really good idea. That's a tough street to close off for any period.
Well, if we started at the race where they go off, we're probably gonna get as far as Audubon, which is, they don't usually turn down from there. It's that mess from Walsh to Audubon, and where people are turning in and around the neighborhoods.
I thought this was going to be, from what I read in the minutes. I thought that this was going to be run after.
At 9:45.
Right.
Okay, so by then, you can commandeer the cruisers and put one at each end.
We only have one cruiser, maybe.
But if the race is pretty much,
We could put
we
cars.
can fill people in.
Yeah, we can-
More cars.
If you tell them, they'll be there. You can get 2 cruisers for 5 minutes. I mean, they were stopping and talking to me at the corner of Willard and Garfield, because they had nothing better to do.
I'm gonna use
Did
them
you
up
get
on
pulled over? Did you get pulled over?
I was more interested.
Apparently.
So I think it needs to be figured out. If it's the street, we need to find a way to make the street safe. If it can be doable on the lawn, I think that's a good thing. And we could use the street as a backup. I don't know if we're gonna find people to move cars. Where am I gonna park my car so that I can move it out to block the traffic? And then go back and forth. I just,
I'll park mine on the lawn.
Make sure your insurance is
Just-
paid.
well, I'm just saying, you know, that becomes a time where it's quick in transition, people are going back and forth trying to figure out what's happening. The lawn felt to me like a better place if somebody stumbles and easier to control. And we can, you know, direct people over there, the race is happening on the lawn, go on over to the lawn, you know, whatever's happening from that end. If we get monsoon rain, we just might cancel the Little Mars race unless they're heartbroken, and then, you know, we might have to do something else, but,
Well, they'll still get their medal. Yeah,
or we'll let
and
them,
that might be enough.
we'll let them run on the soggy grass rather than the road. I don't know, that's my thought, but if you wanna take it over,
I
figure it out.
don't, but I will.
So the race will be over and that crowd,
That gets all the people are in there eating and everything else. Or that's where the.
end of it.
Most
of the people congregate up here, right?
So that's slow.
That's a slow,
Yeah.
that's a little kid falling down, running down toward that way.
That's a busy time, that's when everybody congregates there, so maybe they could see it, maybe they couldn't,
think that requires some work.
So who wants to work on figuring that out? We kind of volunteered you.
We'll walk. How long should it be?
Well, I got it, I can pull it up, but I have it in the email, like,
Not very long.
not very long.
We're probably
Andy,
and
you're
ask
gonna work
Jay, right? And what he
Right,
thinks.
that's what I'm saying.
Who do we know that works at a preschool daycare center? Someone who knows. the
I
capability
volunteer
of
on the
kids.
board, I don't work.
Michelle
there.
Royer used to run the daycare, preschool daycare.
Did she
Would you?
Michelle Royer.
Michelle,
be available for a consult?
I'm sure. Just not this week. She's got the books out. Her head will explode. if you try to
she was
figure it
canceling
out.
Rebel Nursery School, my girls went.
All right, so Anna and Andy are going to reach out to Jay, reach out to Michelle to try to get some.
Who's Jay?
Jay
Michelle.
Marcel, he's the coach,
He was,
running, one of the running coaches at the
Who's
high
gonna
school.
coordinate the kids,
Oh,
the volunteer kids.
So he might have some suggestions.
Yeah,
His kids might be too old for him to give you decent suggestions. I don't know, but he's going to be the one that we're gonna look to have the volunteers and be aware and set up on the day of the race. So it's not like, okay, we're gonna have this in 5 minutes. I need you here and you here and you there, and this is what we're doing. So that thought as it goes through. And we should really know what we're doing by our next meeting on May 8th. And then if we need to get.
okay, I have the email, for the first round, 2 and 3 year olds, we did a distance of 100 yards. The distance will be.
100 yards
Yeah.
for 2-year-old?
Is that a lot? I don't know how this, I don't think I changed, I don't think I put that in. And it was like. Anyway,
We'll talk to Michelle.
Figure it out, talk to Michelle, if we,
That's not
it's the first year, if we need to, do it. The other thing is, if we can measure out how long that is. Maybe get a visual and see what happens.
So it's football field.
it's a football field, that's not,
100 yards.
Oh, she did like a 25-yard dash.
it's not even that.
Yeah, 25 yards.
so I was
Okay.
telling Karen, I watched a little sprinters race and it was like heartbreaking because it was a long way to run. And the child was sobbing the whole time they were running.
Oh.
It was so long, so don't make it too long.
Visions of them like running in circles. Visions of them bumping into each other.
So I like the idea of having a restart. I was thinking we were gonna do 2 races, and then I was thinking we'd have to like go up and turn around and whatever. I was kind of setting up the race in my head, like they do sailboat racing, and that gets too confusing. So I like this thought here. So, and then Andy, if you guys can figure that out, and if you
Yeah,
need
and
more.
keep in
help-
mind, some of the parents are gonna run with their kids or walk with them, push strollers along with them, they have different age.
Strollers are outside of the race course.
So you say.
I'll be there if I have to. On the day of.
She's a race police.
It's got a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old. The stroller's going along with you.
Outside the race course.
A 2-year-old kind of young to be doing that. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Do we know, so.
I mean, really, you should get like, 4 to
What's the maximum age?
4 to 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Because they run in the regular race, they're older. Or walk.
Well. Okay,
Okay.
so,
All right, so
2-year-olds are like haphazard.
That's why it's
They're like
so,
running in circles, running towards the grandmother.
especially if you tell them you want them to dress up in costume.
They're not,
But if you have the medal at the end.
Christine, It's all about this.
I know.
It's all about this for the parents to remember us.
And you have the parent or the grandparent standing at the end of the child will.
Or running along with them,
That'll.
or having it in front of the stroller.
which is on the sideline, so they can. Have you guys seen the yard goats when they do their kids, it's adorable. They have the kids.
Run the bases.
They run the bases, little children dressed up as little goats. And, you know, parents are not, their parents are, you know, off to the
Gonna dress them
side.
up as books.
And I saw one little child wasn't gonna run without the sibling, so they ran together, held hands, cute little goats.
That must take forever, that's a long time between
Did
these.
you have the names of those kids? We could hire them.
Well, that's why it works, because the yard goats have staff that are on the field, young people
Yeah.
who herd them and keep them going around.
the running.
So I'm gonna share a funny
That's what
story.
the high school kids do.
They're supposed to be
Maybe. So the Durham Bulls the kids run in seventh inning, the kids get to run the base, especially if you have a birthday party, so my 4-year-old. Niece ran it with her birthday friends. She stripped down to her bikini and ran the race, all the bases in her bikini.
Because that's how the Olympians run.
Abby, real shy one. What?
Because that's how the Olympians run.
I don't know, but we were like, oh my God, where'd her clothes go?
How do you pin the number on it? All right.
She wanted to go as fast as possible, and you can't work to do that, you gotta.
Be like, you know, the wind.
Yeah.
If you think of what Olympic runners wear,
Yeah.
it's pretty close to the so. No, athletes are a little strange. My son was a swimmer at Newington High, and for a big event, I had 12 teenage boys down in my basement, and I'm going, what are you doing? And they were shaving themselves from head to toe. It was like, does that make that much of a difference?
Yeah.
Bikers do it too. Okay, so you guys are gonna start on that if you need more people or report back or anything else. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for volunteering. Next time you'll be here at the meeting. Anna did it to you. Talk to Anna.
All right.
She's not looking at you. She's also volunteering to help, so that's good. All right, we still have, I'm gonna move on, we still have open board positions. Corporate and Republican. Yeah, corporate and Republican. So, spread the word, and if you hear of anybody that just can't imagine not being a part of our board and our little runners programs and all the other fun things we do, please bring their names forward. If it's a, town appointment, the town committees need to appoint them and bring them forward, but that doesn't say that we can't, you know, reach out and try to identify folks that would be interested and suggest that they apply. As that goes through. New business, we talked a little bit about staff appreciation. We're waiting for staff's calendar to see when we can fit things in. So a staff that's too busy to be thanked is really one that needs appreciation. So let's see what happens from that end. And then I will look, is there anyone online? Anna, somehow you have your hand
It's
up.
been a long meeting,
Yeah, yeah.
like somebody wanted to make a point, but I didn't.
Yeah, nobody wants to, there's some funny things going on tonight, so
All right, that's
we're
fine.
just leaving
So
it
we've
there.
got that. And there's no public in the room. Anything you wanted to okay. So then, our next favorite point, item number 15, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Anna? Grab a
Second.
second? Fiona seconded? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?